Hey everyone, Pixels at Dawn here, and it's time to get on the road again. Not quite so far this time, only 20 miles down the road to Walsall, but I'm going to Retro Revival 2019. It should be quite good, so take a gander at this. Well, I'm back from Retro Revival, so what can I tell you? So if you don't know Retro Revival, it's an event which runs once, sometimes twice a year. It's all retro stuff, there's a lot of traders there, there's talks from people from the retro community, lots of free-to-play arcade stuff, competitions sometimes as well running, and it's quite local to me, so it's definitely something that's a good one for me to go to. I mean, Swag was great, but it's a good couple of hours down the motorway for me, whereas this is like about half an hour, if that sometimes. So I went for both days. I had a good shop. I picked up a couple of things, some of which are on the shelf behind me here. I got the nice fresh copy of Worms in box, and some of these Spectrum games. I don't know whether they're quite in focus. Some of these, I'm trying to get together a complete collection of Spectrum Dizzy games, because I played all of them, and I'm slowly getting there. I think I've got about 6 to get, including things like Spellbound Dizzy, Prince of the Oak Foe, Crystal Kingdom, which is a bit more expensive to get hold of. And some of the arcade games, so like Fast Food and Quick Snacks, which shouldn't be too hard to get hold of, but I haven't really seen them in my travels, because I quite like to go and rummage through the boxes and find them myself. There's a little bit of an adventure there, so and you can definitely do that at Revival. So what was going on there? Speaking of swag, the swag guys were there. Ran to Dave Rowland. He was he was there with a couple of the other guys. They brought a whole bunch of Amigas up. It was like an Amiga museum. They got like little cards next to them saying a little of the history and a bit about the customization that had been done to that specific Amiga. And they got all sorts of things running. Obviously, I played a bit of Lemmings, played a bit of Cannon Fodder, played a bit of Turrican 2, which might have a bit of video of. Can't remember now. There was a really good CD TV setup, which I will put a bit of footage of in here, right here. If you're going to wire up your CD TV to an amp, you might as well be playing Turrican 2, why not? So what else was there? There were various talks. So again, I've tried to record a few of the talks. Hopefully the quality is good enough for you guys. Let me know in the comments on the talks, but they'll be up on the Amigos channel later in the week. So we've got Sensible Software, so John Hare and Stu Cambridge from Sensible Software. We've got 3 of the main guys from Bullfrog. So 2 massive Amiga companies there. From Bullfrog you've got Glenn Corpse, Alex Trowers and Sean, I've forgotten his surname, I should have written these things down. But yes, 3 biggies from the world of Bullfrog, working on things like Syndicate and Theme Park and all those sorts of amazing games that we played back in the day. What else did I see? So yes, lots and lots of arcade machines. I played a little bit of the. I try to make sure I have a go at the games which you can't emulate that easily. So things like Missile Command with the trackball. Obviously, that's a little bit more difficult to achieve in your home. Obviously, you can use the mouse, but it's not quite the same, is it? There's a game I was going to play, and I always play at Revival, which is called Ice Cold Beer, which is a really clever mechanical machine, but unfortunately when I came to play it on the second day, broken. I was really miffed about that. I don't have, I'll see if I can find some pictures of it online to put in here so you know what I'm talking about. It's like a metal bar, and you control each end of the bar to get a ball up to the top of the unit without it popping into any of the holes which are drilled into the unit. It's a very clever arcadey kind of game, and I was looking forward to it, so I'm a bit disappointed with that one. They got a fire truck there, which I'd never seen before, which was a 2-player overhead driving game where the player in the front of the fire truck drives the cab of the fire truck, and there's another player behind standing up like they're riding on the back of the fire truck, sort of controlling the direction of the trailer of the truck. It's like, that's clever, that's really clever. There was a whole bunch of Vectrexes. I don't think I've seen that many Vectrexes in one place before. I mean, when I've been to Revival in the past, there's been one, maybe 2, whereas there were at least 5 here, all different kinds. There was some trying to give you a kind of colour Vectrex with some overlays. There was, and I don't think people will have picked up on this, there was one that was playing Space Invaders. And you might think, well, yeah, loads of things play Space Invaders. It's like, yes, but displaying sprites on a vector-based machine is actually not that easy. So that's technically quite impressive. And I had quite good fun with that. It's Space Invaders, isn't it? So I played a bit on some of they got some BBC Micros there. Played a game of Frogger that somebody had converted onto there. As he pointed out to me afterwards, with a completely different palette. It wasn't the standard BBC Micro palette, which is a little bit pinky coloured. It was completely different, and it was something technical to do with what had done to the actual innards of the BBC Micro itself. What else was there? there was the Spectrum Next, of course, that was there. I meant to get some pictures of the actual unit itself, but it was quite popular. And of course the Oliver twins were there this time round, so they were sort of getting lots of attention. Oh, I didn't finish telling you what talks there were. So Sensible and Bullfrog, and on the second day, the Oliver twins did a talk as well, and that was pretty good, and we've got that as well for the channel later in the week. There are a few other talks which I wanted to get to, but I didn't. It's always a trade-off at these things. It's like, do you want to spend the whole time in talks? Because there's all sorts of interesting people with interesting stories, or do you want to actually go and play a few games, do a bit of shopping, and all those sorts of things. So you've got to trade it off between the two. So yeah, it was another good session. It's held at the Bescot Stadium, where Walsall Football Club play, and they've got it started off relatively small. I remember way back in the day when they were just out in the sort of working man's club, which is just this little building in the car park. Now they're up in the stadium suite, and they're using pretty much every last inch of space they possibly can. And it's yeah, they've really been pushing it, and getting a good amount of Amigos there is always a good thing as well. And yeah, that's about it really. Retro Revival, it'll be on again next year. Quite often they do a winter kind of a smaller event, so if you want to do that, it's completely different kind of event, so don't use the footage that I'm showing you here as guidance to what that event itself is like. But the full sort of summer event, such as summer is around here, it did chuck it down with rain pretty much the whole day, the whole weekend. You may actually pick up on it in some of the talk recordings, because it was just like gallons of rain falling out of the sky outside the window while people were talking. But yeah, it's really good. It'll be on again next year, around the same kind of time, I would imagine. So if you want to come along and you fancy saying hi, you see me there, feel free. Always happy to say hello to people. And other than that, that's it from me. So adios.